What's up, friends, and welcome into Fantasy Pros, the fantasy football podcast. This is the live stream for the football season. Welcome into August. It is go time. It is crunch time, and we've got fantasy football Q&As for you. We are here for an hour live. I got Andrew Erickson in. We're the Hot Wing Bros. We are here, and we are ready to answer all of your fantasy football questions right here on Fantasy Pros. So here's what you do. Drop your stuff in the comments. If your question is so important, if it's the most important and you don't want to risk it getting lost in the shuffle of all the questions, you can use super chats. We got super chats enabled where you can drop any denomination of however it works. It will be starred by us and it goes to the front of the line. It is the, what's the fast pass, Erickson? Fast pass at a park, like a Disneyland or a Universal? You a big Disney? Kind of seem like you might be a Disney guy.
I am not a Disney adult, if that's what you're asking me. I like Disney, but I'm not one of those people that, and I don't think there's anything bad about being a Disney adult. Disney's a fun place, but I don't go around parading in tons of Disney apparel. I'd say my wife is probably more of a Disney adult. She loves Disney. I mean, we're going to have to go back at some point.
Okay, well, go back, get the fast pass. You can get the fast pass here. Drop those super chats. I don't know how the stream will go. I think it's like the first one of this capacity we're doing in the season. Here's what I'll tell you. Guaranteed, if you drop it in the first 20 minutes of the show, we're going to get to it. We do a lot of baseball ones. We usually get to a majority of them. I will try my best. We will see as we go. I'll give you updates on it. But you drop a super chat, it goes to the front of line. We're hitting it, but we want to answer all of your guys' questions in the fantasy football world. Coming off of an amazing episode that Erickson and I had with Scott Bogman. Erickson pinch hitting for Pat. Pat's going to be on the Twitch a little bit later. We'll tell you all about that. But Andrew Erickson, are you ready to ramp up into all this bad boy stuff?
It's August 1st. I posted it on X earlier today. It's pumpkin spice season, which means fantasy football season is here August 1st. Is he ready to go?
Is that really an August thing, dude? Like it's 108 degrees right now where I live. There's no pumpkin spice.
It's not 100, and not today at least. It's been really hot in New England, but a little more fall vibes today.
Not a big pumpkin spice guy either. So there's some news floating out in the fantasy football space. Just want to throw that we can probably hit the potentially Keenan Allen might be having a reunion with the Chargers. Amari Cooper officially retired, and Micah Parsons isn't just requesting a trade like through the media and this. No, he dropped like the iPhone notes and 4 pages in at the end says, I no longer want to be a Dallas Cowboy. So he is requesting a trade. So we got lots of news. We can kind of tie that in as we go here. But we've got our first in the fast passes here. Our boy Omar, I think he just dropped this, but I think he is the first one here. So I'm going to guess this is it. Omar made sure he dropped the first super chat. So hat tip to you, my friend. And I'm assuming this is the question. Hey guys, I got a dilemma. 12-person half PPR keeper league, 7th overall pick. Do I keep Nabers with a 5 or Bowers with a 9? What do you think? That's a tough one, man. That's. I mean, the little bit of value on the tight end, but Nabers is a slam dunk first round pick with pretty good draft equity value. I lean into the wide receiver here, but I mean, Bowers is in kind of a little territory of his own sometimes, but would you take the value on the tight end?
I think for me, I think I'm going to go with the tight end value just a little bit more. I think it is close to your point, but what I'm looking at, okay, who's the receiver that I can draft in round 5? Again, not going to be good as Nabers, but the gap between the tight end I would have to draft in round 9 versus Bowers, that gap is going to be astronomical. So I'm going to go with the slight lean towards Bowers.
Okay, so we didn't really help you there, or if you just want to follow Erickson, you go with that. It's really close. I mean, you are getting 2 rounds of value in there.
Good question.
Yeah, tight end is right there. It's a phenomenal good start there, and hat tip to you, Omar, for the starting off the super chats on the guarantees. All right, going through here, we got, by the way, our boy Sal on the 1s and 2s is going to be helping us pick some of these questions. So if your question doesn't get answered, just letting you know, Sal's fault. Not my fault. So blame the producer, not the host. DK Smith, what's up, y'all? I pick 8th in a full PPR league, and if the players shown are available, who should I take? Nico, Amon-Ra, Henry, or CMC? What do you think?
Full PPR league. I think I'm going with Nico Collins.
Me too.
I'm going with Nico.
Yeah. Are you a Nico over? Obviously you are. I'm a Nico over Amon-Ra guy as well. So are we a team over Amon-Ra?
Yes. I am not going to be drafting Amon-Ra this year, unfortunately. Just there's so many other good receivers, and I just have some concerns about without Ben Johnson. Is he so the focal point of the offense, or is it a little bit different and they're featuring other guys a little bit more? That's my only concern. But again, the top of the receiver ranks this year is so deep. Like the top 12 guys, just so many good players.
If there was the need or want for the running back, what side would you go for? Would you go for CMC or Derrick Henry? If he was like, hey, listen, that's cool, the wide receivers, I actually want to pivot, I don't like the depth, and I want one of those running backs, would it be Henry or CMC in that format?
In full PPR, it would be CMC.
Yeah. Okay. All right, there you go. Omar, by the way, said, so I'm a really good drafter. Thanks, guys. Yes, you are. And I would also go CMC on that one. All right. Getting back to the questions here. We got Ezra. How much should Mark Andrews move up in both rankings and draft boards with Isaiah likely missing time due to the foot surgery?
Should move up a significant amount. I don't know if he really moves up too much in the tight end rankings. I know I was much lower on Mark Andrews, and a lot of that had to do with Isaiah likely being a future breakout candidate. Obviously, if he's going to miss time to start the year, that opens up the window for Mark Andrews to be very productive early on. So I think you can draft him as a startable tight end. He should be productive out of the gates, but maybe a player that we discuss in season as, okay, he's 2 weeks in, really good, 4 touchdowns. He's a machine. Put him on the trade block. Sell high for when Isaiah likely makes his return. Oh,
that's a really interesting take on it. But your take is not that where did you have him at tight end? Did you say that?
So I had him lower. So I think I had him in the tight end 9 range. I think that he's now in that same kind of second tier behind the big 3. I think that he's probably fair at his ADP. I still like waiting on some of the other tight ends, like the Tucker Crafts that go outside the top 100. Andrew's going to be more expensive than those guys. But specifically in half PPR where it's really more dependent on those touchdowns. I mean, Mark Andrews is going to score touchdowns. That's how he's going to make his ends meet in fantasy.
But you're saying positionally, you don't want to do a major move of positionally over overall.
Not necessarily. I mean, I still like Laporta. I still like Evan Ingram. I like some of those players still a little bit more than Mark Andrews.
Didn't hear you say TJ Hockenson.
Oh, TJ Hockenson.
Okay. I don't. I actually have Andrews over Hockenson. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. Move on from Mark Andrews. Very touchy subject when you bring up Mark Andrews with me and Erickson, though. A lot of Mark Andrews shares last year and a lot of questions.
It was not a fun ride. It was not fun.
The back half was fun. But it wasn't super great. All right. Mason's in here. By the way, we had someone who was like, oh my gosh, the super chats, we're doing that again. I can't spend my beer money. Don't spend your beer money. We're just letting you know that if you want a fast pass, you guys have a fast pass to use super chats on here. But we are going through all the questions. We're a show of the people. We are host analysts of the people. We want to answer as many of yours as possible. We're just giving a little cheat code. So we're into it. Mason, would you rather keep T. Higgins in the 6th or Hockenson in the 12th? Boy, that's easy. The 6 for me for Higgins.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't care about value there. I'd also say, I'm just going to throw this out to you guys when you're putting your questions in. I personally do believe the amount of keepers can also completely throw some of this stuff off. If you're hey, we have 4 keepers and then you throw in rounds, or we have 10 keepers. If you 10 keepers, having a 6th round pick over a 12th means a lot more to me in that range. If you're only having 3 or 4, I'm actually not going to care too much. I'm in that respect where it's 5 versus 12 or 6 versus 12. I want the best players possible when I'm only keeping a few. Look on your face. I do understand you could probably flip it in the other direction as well, but that's how I view it. My answer is going to skew to a little bit more value when there's more players versus smaller, unless you're talking about hey, I got da-da-da in the 2nd round or da-da-da in the 10th round. Are you following me there? Are you kind of with me?
I think so. I think that is your point basically making that when you have 2 keepers, you're trying to decide, both are obviously value players. They're both values because of where you drafted them last year. You're kind of leaning on, okay, if they're both values anyway, maybe one's a better value per se, but they're both values because they're both values anyway, just take the best player. Is that
yes? When it's small keeper, same thing happens in fantasy baseball. If you're hey, I just only keeping 4, and you're would you keep Malik Nabers at a 3, and then you've got Devontae Adams at a 9, and you're only keeping, let's say, 3 keepers. I'm probably not going to weigh that extra value of the third pick for Nabers. And this is just a random one I'm throwing out here versus the 9th pick on Adams. Like, I don't really care that much. I am losing one pick. I think Nabers is so exceptionally higher. The value means so much less to me with the least amount of picks. Once the picks open up and it's like everybody's keeping 8 or 10, opening up a second or third round pick can be a game changer in that type of format versus, otherwise. So that, again, there's a lot of different strategies on keeper. So I'm just saying, if you guys want to give us any information on how many keepers, that can help as well. We got some super chats rolling in. Reminder, 100% the first 10 minutes we can guarantee. I think at our pace, we're going to be good throughout the rest of the show, but drop your super chats to get to the front of the line, and we're going to answer those bad boys. Let's go to Dolphin345. In a league that has an IDP slot and allows for offensive scoring in that spot, where would you take Travis Hunter? Positional advantage could be huge. So he's saying the IDP spot would also get the offensive scoring. This is kind of the old Shohei Ohtani in fantasy baseball conversation. What do you think that does to changing Travis Hunter's value?
I think that he can be taken in the first round. I'm pretty sure he's a first round pick, depending on how the scoring is. Now, you need to look in specifically to what your league actually scores points, because I know that it seems like every IDP league will score points differently. How many points is it? Because that matters because of all the tackles, intercept. If he's getting points for everything and it's in a pretty large majority, I think that he could be a first. I know that I'm in one IDP league and I'm making a point to make sure I get Travis Hunter on my team, because this is the one format where no matter what he does, if it's defense, if it's offense, you get to get access to the second overall pick that could be a total unicorn at the football, playing in football. So wherever his ADP is, I would just reach around ahead of his ADP.
So like, okay, the Hunter, let's say arguably, I'm not looking at ADP. I should probably pull it up, but like, let's say his ADP 32 at wide receiver, knowing that you can put him in that IDP slot. Where do you think he would end up sliding? Like, I don't want to say overall, but like, would he be a top 20 wide receiver, knowing that you could put him in another positional spot, get wide receiver and defensive stats? You think that's about right?
Yes. Or if not higher. I mean, if you look at projections that have him for both positions, he's up there with some of the quarterbacks in some of the scoring, like total points. So that's something that you need to keep in mind if you're getting points for both his defensive and offensive scoring, regardless of where you're putting him into your lineup.
So Tyreek Hill or Travis Hunter in that format?
Travis Hunter. Easy.
Okay. T. Higgins or Hunter?
Travis Hunter.
Okay. Oh, baby.
I mean, if he's going to be scoring on both sides of the ball, I'm taking Travis Hunter. I mean, if there's a league where he can score on both ways, you want him in that league, because if he's as good as advertised, either on offense or defense, then he's going to be a cheat code, and I think it's worth the risk.
Sal in the comments said Travis Hunter 1-1 in that type of league. No, it was 1-1.
I mean, he should be a first round pick. Like, he should be ranked very, because it's kind of a mystery box thing, but there's just so many ways where you can see it being a total cheat code, like you said, like Ohtani, right?
How about him or Brian Thomas then?
I think I'm taking Travis Hunter still, just because he can do.
When
both.
Can I get you to stop? All right, Puka Nacua or Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter. He's like, Welsh, I don't know if you're like conceptualizing.
I'm not. Well, now I'm comprehending it. Jamar Chase.
How many points he can score in a format where he can score on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, okay, but I guess a little argument would be, is this going to be, do you remember like old school Dion, where it was like Dion doesn't get tackles? Like, yes, if he gets the interception, that's great, but like there's a potential missed opportunity, and if he is limited in his amount of defensive snaps, I think we all kind of presume if something's going to be taken away, it's probably, at least I do, I assume it's going to be taken away defensively. He's like a nickel type of corner, and he's not getting tackles. You are reliant on the interception. So I think he has weeks where, under what you're talking about, he's maybe the most explosive player, but I think there also could be some duds on overvalue. So I don't know. I'm just throwing this out here. That's crazy. I mean, I get the logic on it, but I didn't expect you to also say Hunter over like Puka and them. My 20 wide receiver undersold it.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to manipulate the board. So whatever site you're drafting on, figure out where he is in ADP, which is probably not going to be reflective because it's probably just going to be capturing his wide receiver only ADP, and then just take him around ahead of that. You probably don't have to draft him in round one, but I mean, if that's what it would take for me to get him in a league where he can score in both ways, I would try to be that aggressive on him.
I like the idea of like a wheel pick or whatever. We're going to get to the next super chat in here, but boy, Sal just uncovered what a dumb idiot I am.
Oh, the Amari Cooper
have
thing?
gone all season
you
of
fell
not
for it.
I haven't gotten Centelled. I haven't gotten got. I got right before the show with that Amari Cooper thing by Adam Schlelfer.
Yeah.
I what a hand up. Stupid idiot. I 100% because Sal's like, hey, by the way, that's a joke, right? I got that. That's not us.
Okay.
I got Centelled.
Well, if you're not okay, it's not the first time it's ever happened to someone. I know it's happened to me before, and once it happens to you, you're always a little bit more hesitant when stuff happens. Like, wait, is this the right Adam Schefter? Okay,
it's been a little too long. I got a little too cocky with my comfortability of the news I was reading. I did not fall. I just saw it, and I was like, you know why? It's a great one. Makes total sense.
Yeah, right. I mean, like when you said it, because I knew about the Keenan Allen thing, and I said,
"Thanks for correcting."
Oh, Mark. Well, no, because I didn't know. I was like, and to your point, it was believable enough. We're like, okay, like he was old, like he's not on a team. Like, okay, I could see him. Like he posts like photos of his Alabama jersey and his Instagram. Like, it's been a great run, guys.
Hat tip to that Centelli type of account that got me, the Adam Schleffler. So I'm a dumb idiot, folks. All right, Xavier. Afternoon, fellas. What's your strategy when your league mates reach an overdraft on players? I feel forced to pick players that fall because of that. That's a phenomenal question by Xavier. So what do you think about that? Like, that's that old, like, this is too good of values because people are going to, quote, get their guys. How do you approach something like that?
Yeah, I think that this is something that Joe has talked about, where you're kind of price enforcing certain players, where you just decide, I don't necessarily particularly like this player, but they've become such a value. And I think historically speaking, when you look at some of those picks in past years, I mean, it happened famously with Josh Jacobs a couple of years ago, where like nobody wanted to draft Josh Jacobs, but it just became a point where, okay, it's the 8th round. Like nobody was like, you got to take him. And then you end up being the RB3 that season. So it's not always going to work out that way, but I think this actually happens a lot in, I don't want to like put it as like sharper leagues, but more analyst leagues where everyone gets their guys, because you have to be like, oh, these are my exposures as the player that I shop at the grocery store that I eat at or whatever, or eat at my own restaurant. And you see guys fall. I think that last year I was in an expert analyst league where Devontae Adams fell, right? Because he was on the Raiders. It was kind of a gross situation. He was my wide receiver 4. Now, did I know that he was going to end up on the Jets? Like, no. But I think that you have to, and that's why rankings are so important to have, where they give you an out on, I may not like this player at their ADP, but then I have them ranked somewhere, and where I have them ranked is where I would feel comfortable taking them. So I think that you just have to take scooping value when it presents itself to you.
I think you said that really well. Like, you don't want to press yourself. There's a little bit of like, if you see people doing that, keep in the back of your mind and make sure to go get your guys as well, if that's kind of happening in the league. Because if you are getting whoever you determine are your guys, and people are letting, whatever version of this is, it's the Josh Jacobs of the world, they're going to kind of continue to fall. But you really should understand values and taking the values when you possibly can. I think that's important as well. Very good question, though. Getting into the strategy. Love it. Join Judge Joey P every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube for Fantasy Draft Court. We've got 5 players. The defense argues that you should draft them. The prosecution says that you should dodge them. Be a part of the jury, hear both sides, and vote on the verdict. Fantasy Draft Court. And we'll also be tackling your fantasy questions right here on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, like we're doing right now. If you like what we do, you can also drop a little like and a subscribe to the channel, because it really helps us out. So make sure that you're locked in on the YouTube. We're going to tell you about some of the other offerings we got, but YouTube has got all of our main videos. So turn on those notifications for Draft Court, for the Q&A, and much more. Speaking of the Q&A, let's get back to it. Flo Bro, if McLaurin leaves, who's the most valuable pass catcher in Washington? Debo.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Debo till the wheels fall off.
Debo. Do you... a little bigger? Debo a little bigger to you?
Last year was just so bad with Debo. And I can't get that out of my mind. So I think that for him, if you're going to draft him, I think you're betting on the early season production. If McLaurin either leaves or he comes back and he starts out slow, like we see with a ton of these guys that hold out, I think that he would be a prime sell high candidate. Like he's ripping off like these 80-yard catch and run that is not sustainable. He would be a guy that's, hey, prime sell high through September. Deebo Samuel, you trade him for, a receiver that's disappointed for the first month, maybe one of these receivers on a new team. That's probably the way I would approach it. But yeah, Deebo is someone I've had to move up rankings.
The only thing though is like if McLaurin gets traded, I think there's a likely scenario that he is traded for another wide receiver. Not doing this because I'm like a Niner guy, but like McLaurin for Ayuk would have made a ton of sense. But it's like Ayuk and Deebo don't want to be reunited. I think Ayuk wanted the hell out of there just to get away and be his own guy. So like, but then why would the 49ers want to jump back into another contractual issue? But my point is like you would imagine that McLaurin is traded to another scenario where a pass catcher is coming back, because I don't think they care what he says right now, because I think you have to get remember the rumors last year of like Cortland Sutton, you'd have to get someone like that back. That guy could end up being the main guy. I just don't trust Deebo. I don't think it doesn't look like, at least from last season and physically right now, I don't know if he's got that same breakaway ability. I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to want to play big dump off all day long. Like Deebo's not great in deep open field anymore. It's going to be screen passes and short stuff. And guess what? They got Eckler to play that role. Like I think he'll be fine, but I just don't know that there's the upside. So I think the easy answer is to say Deebo, but if McLaurin is traded, it's probably the guy that comes in. And I'm not really sure. Do you have a fit for McLaurin in this trade market? Like you're like, oh, that's definitely the destination because they can trade, bop for this guy.
Patriots.
Patriots have been trying. Who are they going to trade?
Kayshon Boutte and a draft pick. Like there you go.
If Pop goes to the Guardians, are you into that?
The Guardians, Commanders.
How about did you see the Packers meme where it's like the seven guys that are behind the 7 Packer wide receivers, and it's the guy looking back at Terry McLaurin? Like maybe they hate Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is trash.
I do hate Jaden Reed. That would be cool. I would say though, I would keep an eye on some of their younger players. Are pretty interesting. Like there's not a lot of buzz about. I know someone in the chat just mentioned Luke McCaffrey. He's a second-year guy. Jalen Lane, a rookie they drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah. Okay.
Explosive punt returner. He's a guy that can do a lot of Deebo-esque type of things. And then I know a tight end that we were kind of in on last year. He fell victim to being stuck behind Zach Ertz. But hey, that happened to Trey McBride too. And then what happened? Trey McBride ended up being a superstar once Zach Ertz got out of the way. So Ben Sinnott, second-year tight end, another guy that a lot of these Commanders are free. Like free in some of these best ball drafts, really, really, really late. So some guys to keep an eye on with some of these sleepers in Washington. All right, let's get to more questions. I feel pretty confident, by the way, about saying like we can lift the moratorium on like only the top 20 minutes based on the pace. Like you got your question to be answered. Drop it in the super chat. I don't think we have any like non-guarantees in this live stream, but we got plenty of questions. So we want to keep getting to them. TB, I've got 104, 105, and 107. Who would you guys be targeting in Dynasty rookie draft Superflex? So 4, 5, and 7 in a Dynasty rookie Superflex. I imagine you can pull up the ranks, which by the way, you can go over to Fantasy Pros. You can check out the rankings, and we got nice little tabs that'll show you half PPR, Dynasty, Superflex. You can see what we've got on there, and you can even use this in the mock draft simulator if you would like. You can sync your league. This would be a big thing I do. You can sync your league, and you can test out and play around with all the different scenarios. But Erickson giving actual advice outside of just some information for them to do. 4, 5, and 7. What would you do in the Dynasty rookie Superflex? So if Cam Ward were to fall to me at 104 or 105 and I kind of needed a quarterback, I think that he just fits in terms of he's going to gain value probably year over year. He was the 101 and he's a quarterback. And this is the cheapest you're going to be able to get a player like that. So I think that he's in the conversation at 104, 105 if he's there, because sometimes he falls. Even though he was the first overall pick, some people just don't want Cam Ward, or if you have a lot of quarterbacks already on your roster, sometimes he falls. So I think that he would be in the conversation there. I think that you want to hit on some of these, at least one of the running backs that's left, probably at the 107. So whether that's Johnson, Henderson, or Harvey, pick your flavor. I would say when it comes to the running backs, Judkins has kind of fallen out of that conversation just because, his issues are, you have the domestic violence issue. You have the fact that he doesn't even have a contract with his team. Like, he's not even there. Like
I am the lowest in the world, lowest of all of our rankers. I was, and then everybody else kind of jumped back.
The GM talked about like, yeah, hopefully he plays for us this year. I was like, oh my God.
True.
And yeah, and to your point, like he also wasn't a perfect prospect. Like he had issues with his prospect profile, not really a pass catcher. His missed tackle rate wasn't necessarily stupendous at the college level. So he's someone that, needs to not be a first round pick for the most part. I get that there may be some value if he falls enough, but so I would probably do T-Mac or Tetron McMillan at 104, 105. I'm not going quarterback. I just think he's going to be a friggin' stud.
Yeah,
Carolina Panthers, and then it would be running back. So it's
whoever's
like
there,
Johnson.
Harvey or
Harvey, Henderson, Caleb Johnson. I would say if you are wide receiver weak, I think that Egbuka makes a lot of sense too. I think that he's really, really safe. I just think that he's going to be a player that we'll look at. He's going to catch 90 balls every single year, and he's got a pretty good outlook, even seemingly early this year with Chris Godwin dealing with this ankle injury. So those are a couple of the names I would throw out.
Okay, sounds good. Redbeard, another one of these. Rookie 106, 108. Who would you go after if I make a trade up for a wide receiver or top running back? I also have 110. So he's trying to, I think, what was he saying? He wants a package 6 and 8 to move up. Okay, and that's how I'm reading this. Is that right? Like you would probably need to get to, if you're going to do that move, you kind of need to go up to 2 to get Tet, right?
Yeah, if it's not Superflex, then you probably have to move up to either 1 or 2. He's probably 1 of 3 now. I think it's Genty and Hampton. I think because Hampton's a first round pick too. So
and then what Hunter is 4?
I think so. That's usually what the consensus is. So he would have
to
move
between
a little
2
bit.
and 4. Get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he's not there, then I would say I would just probably take a Buka at 108 and then just pound running back with 2 of the guys that you like.
Okay, I'm down with that one. Austin, how high is too high for Drake London? Oh, you should go and listen to Hot Takes on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel that dropped earlier today. This is a keeper league, though. So wide receivers, keeper league. So wide receivers like Chase, Nabers, BTJ are all kept. My keeper is Bucky, so ideally would like to go wide receiver round 1. I think that's kind of a no-brainer in a keeper league. So he's assuming London's not kept. He has a first-round pick. If London's there, you take him. There's who else is going to be there that's available with better upside, right?
I think it's a great pick. I mean, again, if I had to take Drake London in round 1, I would. But luckily, you don't have to. You can take him in round 2. But in this particular case, where he's going with the keepers, you're probably taking him closer to where his ADP is, around the 15th, 16th, 17th overall player.
Okay, we're down with that. Jacob. 10-team PPR, you start 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. It's not super flex. Would you rather start your draft with Achane and 1 of Nico, BTJ, or London, or 2 of the elite wide receivers? I'm picking at the turn.
This is one of my favorite questions because this is something that I've been kind of thinking about in my head. I like picking at the back of the round 1 because round 1 is so deep this year. And this is something that I've thought a lot about in terms of, do I like the double tapping the receivers that just seemingly seems so elite, or do I want to grab a running back? The fact that it's a 10-man PPR league, I think lends itself to me maybe waiting a little bit more on the running back position and just getting the elite receivers a little bit more. Oh, why you disagree?
Well, I thought we were going in the same range. If those receivers are a combination of Puka, BTJ, if it truly is Nico, BTJ, London, yes, give me 2 of those. If it's not, it's Achane, as Bogman would say, with a bullet. Like in a full PPR receptions for Achane, like this is his bread and butter. And I think in a 10-team, I think the wide receiver core is just better overall. I think running backs start to taper off a little bit. I think there's maybe a statistical advantage of getting not just like one of the better running backs, but one of the better receiving running backs. But it would be hard to pass on Nico or Brian. Like if I could literally get Nico and Brian Thomas, like get the hell out of here. I'm just kind of assuming you can't get both of those. I would take one of the elite wide receivers to start and then see what happens on the back end if I would consider running back.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can buy that. So yeah, I like that idea too,
but like if you got Brian Thomas and then comes back and Achane and London are both available with that 2nd round pick, that's where and I'm kind of agreeing with you, where it's like, well, let's take London and you're just owning this elite wide receiver core.
Well, I think the thing that I kind of like about it is you don't have to start 2 receivers in this league. So it's kind of like, in my opinion,
Oh yeah,
a superhero receiver start. So you just draft 2 guys that can be wide receiver 1 overall, and then you just like running back, and just draft a bunch of running backs, and it doesn't matter which of them hit. You draft some rookie upside, you draft some guy like a James Conner, and then you don't really bank on hitting on a late round receiver, which is a much harder bet to make versus late round running back, which happens every single year where guys are overperforming. So that was my only thought, but I do agree, like Achane specifically, like his archetype of a just PPR monster, he would be the guy that, hey, I want to have him as my hero RB. So
yeah, and I think like I kind of personally think McCaffrey would maybe fit that role as well. But like if you start throwing other names, like I don't need like Jonathan Taylor, I don't need like some of those other guys. It's just specifically the PPR monsters. Really, in that first round format, Bijan, Gibbs, Achane, McCaffrey, those are kind of like the exceptions to the maybe potential draft rule. But that's just my take on it. But it's a really great question, and I like that you liked that bad boy so much. Well, guess what? We got lots of these great offerings over on our Discord. Yes, check out the Fantasy Pros Discord today, my friends, fantasypros.com/chat, where you can join our Fantasy Pros Discord community, chat with other fans, and get access to exclusive AMAs that can wind up on your podcast feed. And we got a schedule for you, and me and Erickson are back, baby. First, we got Boggs and Fitz at 5 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday through the month of August to hook you guys up. Lots of Dynasty talk there. Worm and Fitz at 5 p.m. Eastern at the first Tuesday of every month. So they're going to have to figure that one out for this month coming up here. And then, most importantly, Welsh and Erickson are back 2 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. We are here for you. Come and check it out today. Sign up, fantasypros.com/chat. Get in the Discord. Lots of free stuff. By the way, I think on the podcast stuff, they're free. You just join up on the Discord. You can come and hang out, be a part of the podcast. And if you want, you can check out some of the other premium offers. Come and get your questions answered and be on the show at fantasypros.com/chat. Let's get back to it. Chat. Chase Cookman, who do you pick in a $200 auction Superflex keeper? Pick one. Jaden Daniels at 17, Trey McBride at 15, Chase Brown at 12.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, easy peasy, friendo. Awesome Dev. In a 10-team Superflex, I'm drafting 7. Is it good to draft 2 high-end quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds? Interesting question in a 10-team. This could maybe alter some of the options, but what do you think?
I think it depends on what your definition of the high-end quarterbacks is. So for me, I think that the tier 1 is 4 players between Hurts, Daniels, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. I think Burrow's in his own tier because he's not a runner, even though he's an elite passer. So unless you can get 2 of those 4 guys, which I don't know, maybe you can, I think that 1 quarterback is probably enough for me.
I agree. I think you could probably get away with not doing any in that format because I think it's at 7. You got to get one of those elite guys, which you ain't going to get. And then I would rather probably take the positional advantage because then as we move further through the draft, there's only 10 teams on the quarterbacks. You can live with some of those late quarterbacks. You want to take some shots too. Take an Anthony Richardson as your 3rd quarterback for the upside. Justin Fields, you could probably get in the 3rd or 4th round. I would skip quarterback unless I'm getting one of the elite ones. We got a boy Jacob with a super chat in here. Jacob, thoughts on trading a package including the 1-1 or Jamar? My running backs are Gibbs, Achane, and Kyron. Wide receivers are Nico, Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, and Olave. So wait, thoughts on trading a package that includes the 1-1 or Jamar? What are you getting? Am I not reading this right?
Well, I think he's trying to figure out what he would trade that for based on
Gibbs
his
and
current
Achane,
roster.
Nico, Wilson, McLaurin, Olave, and the 1-1 is probably a rookie pick, right? Because this looks like a dynasty. So you're trading away Genty or Jamar Chase. And I say, why? Why not? If you want to trade stuff, trade some of the other pieces. Would you really want to trade Genty in a dynasty format like this? Or Jamar Chase, who's the number 1?
So it looks like, James in the chat is helping us out. He says, I think it's for Jamar, not or Jamar, which makes much more sense. Thank you, James.
Makes a lot more sense. Thank you. Okay.
So now it's about trading for Jamar using the 101 along with the rest of his roster. So now this is much, much more easier to understand. So yeah, I mean, if I want to trade for Jamar Chase. He's in his prime. He's attached to Joe Burrow, elite ceiling, love Ashton Genty, but I mean, does that not? I mean, what could I do? 101 and Kyron to get Jamar? Probably not.
Oh yeah, because he's saying including. Oh, yeah. Now things are making a lot more sense. So what plus the 101 gets you Chase? Not a ton more, right?
I would do 101 Kyron and McLaurin. Just get him off my roster.
Seems like a lot, doesn't it?
I mean, McLaurin's 31.
Would you do 1-1 and Garrett Wilson? Knowing you would have, I know you don't like McLaurin now, but you'd have Nico and Jamar Chase, though.
That's true. I think, I would probably do that if that's what it took. I would try. I mean, yeah, we always say, like, it's always easy in theory to try to lowball someone, but then you piss them off and then they never answer your trades again. So,
yeah, I don't think any of that would get pissed off. Yeah, I don't think that would piss anybody off, but I think it's like you want to build the scenario that you're comfortable with, and then you want to know, like, what ultimately are you really like willing to go to? And it's like, would you go 1-1 and Garrett Wilson? You hesitated. That kind of seemed like the ceiling to try to get Jamar Chase. Your running backs are great, so I guess you could be fine without Genty here, but you should like build in the value of that young of a dynasty running back in there. That I don't know if it takes a giant package more than the 1-1 to get Chase, knowing that the 1-1 isn't just like some floating out in the wind potential play. Like, it is a physical player. It is Ashton Genty. So
I mean, because we get to be talking about next year, and Genty is. Do you think Genty will be more valuable than Jamar Chase next year? Yes or no? You can say they might be equal. But
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stick with Chase, but I don't know if the gap is that big.
Right. And so that's kind of what you're trying to figure out here. And I think that Garrett Wilson paying as that gap right now, I love Garrett Wilson as a talent, but we have no idea what his quarterback thing is going to ever be. Ever.
Yeah.
We know the Chase is with Burrow, like forever, until they decide that they don't want to play for the Bengals anymore. And then they go off somewhere. What team would be fun for them to be on? What team needs the Burrow Chase connection? The Saints. Oh my God. They go back to the Bayou.
Let's go. I mean, the world would explode.
Debro, how excited would Debro be? He could actually tell people he's a Saints fan.
He would be so happy to tell people he's a Saints fan. He would be so happy. When I was younger, when I played video games a bunch, my favorite thing to do, I would always create these weird rosters on Madden. And one of the versions of those would be put every player on their college-based team relative to their major league team. So LSU would be on the Saints. So you put all the guys in the NFL that were from LSU, you'd put them on the Saints, and, like maybe Stanford and Cal would go on the 49ers and that type of stuff. That team would be lit. But I'm old, and
Patriots would be
irrelevant. Yeah. Patriots would be awful. Yeah, you guys would have you have to make up places. You're like, put Delaware maybe in that, like Connecticut. Like, it'd be really bad. Yeah, like we'll put anybody from Canada. We'll also put them on there. So
international players.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's do a lightning round here. I can tell you, we got you guys covered if we don't get to your question, and I'll tell you how in just a little bit. But let's make sure Erickson and I can get into a lightning round. We got roughly about 10 minutes in here, so we are going to answer as many as we can. I play in a 12-team half PPR keeper league. I want to keep BTJ with my 7th round pick. What positions do I go for in the first 3 rounds, knowing I have a solid wide receiver 1?
I don't think you should change your strategy. Just having one wide receiver in there as a 12-teamer. If it's a normal 3 receiver, 2 running backs, I don't think it really changes anything.
I probably want 2 wide receivers and 1 running back, but if the value is too good to get 3 more wide receivers and I can start all with a flex, I'm also comfortable with that. So. Enrico Palazzo. Fellas, if you were a 10-team half PPR keeper league and get to choose your draft order, what would your ideal spot be? I'm keeping Bowers with the 11th round pick. So where would you want to be in a 10-team based on, I guess that's going to be 1 keeper is going to probably be out. So maybe assume whatever your top 12 is, let's assume 3 are gone out of that, just for hypothetical.
So how many players are gone?
Well, he said it looks like they have 1 keeper because he said he's keeping Bauer with the 11th. And let's assume there's probably a couple other pretty cool players that are gone. So I'm just saying, assume, maybe Chase is gone and maybe Jahmyr Gibbs is gone. Where would you want to be in an order in the draft?
Given that, because I like picking towards the end, but acknowledging that there's going to be some of the top players off the board already, I think I might push myself up a little bit. I think probably around maybe the 5 in the middle I want to pick, because that way I get I'm not having to. I feel like it gives me the best access to the depth in round one against only a 10 team. So I'm picking 2 times inside the top 15 or so picks. Picking at 5 or 6, I
I
think.
think I agree.
So that's probably where I would go.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. King, Andrew, half PPR position 2. Bijan first. In my second choice, I usually have McConkey, Chase Brown, or Bucky. I'm almost certain that in my third pick, I'm going to go with a hero quarterback. What would you do? Running backs have so much value during the season. So he's saying he's got Bijan in the first. Second round, he usually takes, it looks like, more running backs than hero running back. Just a quick idea of like, I love the McConkey. I'm a big McConkey guy in the second round. I don't know if I would push on those running backs, but what do you think?
I would say, I mean, if Keenan Allen signs with the Chargers, does that sway you in any way with Ladd McConkey? We didn't talk about it earlier, but I mean,
it's an interesting perspective.
Guy, and he definitely overlapped with his skill set in terms of a slot receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I'd also maybe argue that like McConkey just did such a good job of like stretching the field and stuff like that. Like Keenan Allen's going to be 5 and out. You know, like it's just going to be like short ADOT type of stuff. It actually might protect him a tiny bit, but I get your point. Like it's got to eat into some type of targets. Is there anything different in there? Like trying to attempt to make this like lightning round. He wants to go hero quarterback in the third. So knowing that, and you already took a running back, don't you feel more compelled that you want to get a wide receiver in the second?
Yeah. Again, they use Ladd as the example, but I feel so much better after the first 2 rounds, knowing that I have a guy that could be RB1 overall and then a guy that could be wide receiver 1 overall. Like having like shots at both of those types of opportunities. And maybe Ladd doesn't have wide receiver 1 overall upside, but I mean, the guy could be a top 5 receiver. I mean, he was top 12 last year and as a rookie. So the upside is clearly there. And I just feel better when I get 2 shots about one on running back and 1 at receiver. Especially when you have Bijan, it's like you don't necessarily need Chase Brown or Bucky Irving as much. So that's kind of how I would go.
By the way, shout out too, because it looked wild on the super chats, like 499, I think it was pesos. Like that's wild, like wild the exchange rate and how it looks. But shout out in general to that. But like they look like crazy numbers when you see them. Yeah, King. All right, we have Xavier is back for 1. If I could get that up there, 10-team PPR. I have the 1-1. Would like to stack with Chase and Burrow, but no, Burrow won't fall because of the overreaching. When do you reach on a player, and are there any players you would be willing to reach for? So attempt at best to lightning round that, but reaching for players, and are there a couple in your mind that you are actively reaching for this year?
Yeah, wasn't Xavier the one that asked us about the reaching for players that were falling in value?
I think so. Yeah.
So I like
this is a follow up to that.
He's calling out now. If I'm going to reach on all these players, I know you just took me to take all the value, but now. So that's kind of a good way to look at it, right? If you are going to reach on some of these players, make sure that you are conscious of trying to kind of get some of that value back, right? Well, by taking some value picks. So because you're being so direct to, I want the Burrow Chase stack, like you were making that bet. And if it hits, it probably is not going to matter where you drafted Joe Burrow. So yeah, I think that would be the case where I would be fine with reaching per se, but knowing that, okay, I did reach on Joe Burrow. I need to make sure I scoop up some value with some either running backs or wide receivers later on because you're playing catch up at those other positions because you went and got Joe Burrow. And again, if he stays healthy, he should be fine. But again, you are still reaching on a passing quarterback that doesn't add a lot of value with his rushing, which in a vacuum is a no-go. But because you're going for the stack, it's a little bit more of an upside play.
Okay, super duper lightning round. We're going to just do a couple quick answers getting at the end of this. JSN for flex over Kittle. Was that a mistake in a half PPR? JSN or Kittle?
Kittle for me.
Okay, and he said he got stuck with Kelsey, so I don't know. Maybe I would have gone the other side. Is Kronsky Merritt hype real?
Yes.
Kronsky Merritt. Yes. Okay. Oh yeah, really?
His name is Bill. That's what he goes by. He goes by Bill. We've talked about Kronsky Merritt on every single show. Bill.
Keep Love for a third round or Nico for a third round. Cam Smith. I can't keep 2 quarterbacks. This is a super flex, because I was about to be super dismissive here. Nico, Cam, Love. You have to, I guess, I mean, I don't know the second quarterback is. Okay, so you can't keep both. So what is your keep? I guess pick one.
Yeah, so it's basically Love or Nico Collins, basically, for a third in a Superflex PPR league. I actually want to see. Sorry,
it's Nico, though, right?
Fire, but I mean, it's Superflex, so
I'm keeping Nico there.
For a third round pick, I don't think is a bad deal. think that's pretty solid. It is full PPR though, so
Nico.
that is why I think I'm also leaning towards Nico. But I just want to see my rankings and see where I have them. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're with that. All right, cool. JSN in the 5th round. No doubt keeper. Yep. No brainer. 14-man keeper.
Not keeping Goff no matter what. So yes, JSN.
Yeah, especially when it's Goff. Trying to see if I can pick a couple others. There's some strategy ones that doesn't work here. First year keeper league coming in. I'm keeping McConkey and dropping Tyreek Hill to avoid the first round penalty. Alvin Kamara worth keeping. Whoa, that was like we took a hard turn at the right. Like, hey, I'm keeping McConkey, throwing Hill back. Should I keep Kamara? Maybe. Depends what the round is. What's the round that you would say that he's no longer valuable? Kamara.
I probably wouldn't want to keep him anything higher than round 3. So like round 4, if it's full PPR, I'm cool with Kamara.
Okay. Oh, this is a very important question from Scott Bogman. Who ranks higher, Ghost Pepper or Trinidad Scorpion? This is a tough question because listen, Ghost Pepper hurt and was bad, and you saw I was crying and it was so brutal. But the Trinidad Scorpion was disgusting. It was so gross. I don't know which one I would pick. So this is a very important question here. Ghost Pepper or Trinidad Scorpion?
Ghost Pepper for me.
Okay. Well, there you go. Ghost Pepper. It is the worst taste, but go and listen, comment, and have some fun with our video we did, the hot takes, Bogman, Erickson, and myself. Now, lots of people in the stream. See almost 200 in here. Your question didn't get answered. Don't worry. We got you. We are ending, but we've got a whole nother hour live on our Twitch. Yes, you can see it right here. Our Twitch schedule moving forward, Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We've got Erickson and Tom Strachan doing best balls. We've got Q&As with Seth and Debro at 2 p.m. Eastern. Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern with the same crew. We've got a Thursday Q&A at 5 p.m. Eastern and a Friday 5 p.m. Eastern. And today, right now, if you jump over to twitch.tv/fantasypros, you can hang out with Pat Fitzmaurice and Seth Woolcock. They're here for a full hour to answer your questions. So just take yourself on over to Twitch. Make sure you follow on the Twitch. You can also get a sub so you can get rid of ads. And we've got a lot of like cool like emojis and stuff. And if you just want to get into that world, but we're going to be answering questions for a full hour over there. You can use, I think we have like channel points and stuff to probably boost your question up. So twitch.tv/fantasypros, full hour live literally after we get off of here. So go jump on over there, hang with Pat and Seth and get more questions answered. And we are doing that all August. So lock in. Erickson and I are going to be back next week on the Discord. So make sure you guys go and come and hang out in there. So we got people to talk to.
The extra point returns.
That's right. I'm excited about it, but we got to have some people to talk to. So make sure you're on the Discord, fantasypros.com/chat, and come and join us next week as our first edition is back. That is it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks to all the super chatters, everybody that rocked with us. And shout out to Sal, who was producing the whole show and did not pick your questions. It's Sal and Callie. We'll blame both of them, not me. Erickson, Rockstar, love you guys. We'll see you over on Twitch in the next hour. We're out for now. Fantasy Pros, NFL. Peace. Go away. Go to twitch.tv/fantasypros. Take some Ghost Pepper with you. Trinidad.